So, welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed your little break from me. But still, the reviews must go on. Because talking shit to shit just makes it worse. But other than that, let's go into Monday Night Raw. And it was, not the best episode. I think the best thing was Sasha Banks, and it's like over her return, she think of being heel, going off topic and crap like that. And over an interview that failed with Jerry the King Lawler with him early on commentary calling a match. I think it involved Roman Reigns facing off against somebody. I think it was Sami Zayn. That I did not care about. All I cared about was at least Sasha Banks and being over a promo of why turning heel after your return from WrestleMania, the last time you even appeared in WWE. And this was going to be exciting over Roman Reigns getting a match, and then they just have an unnecessary vignette of what happened in the last several weeks on SmackDown. I don't know why WWE is doing this. I thought this was SmackDown's thing being a Raw recap, thanks they have no captivating storylines to actually get people to watch the show consistently. But thanks to watching this, it just shows both shows are so disinteresting. And I'd rather see who's going to be in the draft for the XFL than watching this opening part of the show. And then they had Jerry King Lawler show up just so he can do a King's Corner. But it was just a reason for the Fiend to show up, do the lights thing. And the funniest part was when Jerry's like, "Oh, I saw this way too many times before," and tried to walk out the ring until he got the mandible claw right in the middle of the entranceway. Other than the Ziggler and Roman match, it was just a typical Ziggler and Roman match. It ended up with some good a decent drop kick by Dolph Ziggler. I think Ziggler tried to go for a corner move, a running move until it's like, what the fuck is it? Didn't get speared. 1, 2, 3. You don't want to know how Natalya is so attractive, but other than that, she is. She's a beautiful woman, but it's like she's has no charisma to her at all. I want to feel bad for her getting assaulted, but she was suddenly turning heel just so she can feud with Becky Lynch for the women's title, lose, and then Sasha Banks just comes in and just turns heel, and this might just mask into Becky Lynch facing off against Sasha for the women's title. That I'm not excited for unless Sasha really has a more captivating intro other than "You're welcome" after Michael Cole asked what was the reason for attacking Natalya in the weakest period and then assaulting your friend Becky Lynch. And then we had Baron Corbin. The Miz, the first round contendants for the King of the Ring tournament, and Ricochet and the Miz, because the Miz is babyface, facing off against Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre, and they win. And it came off some kind of striking move Ricochet used to, I think they called it the recoil, and get the win. Other than that, it was just basic a 2 hour, two commercial match. They gotta stop with these tag team matches. If they have 3 hours, so why do they have to do 2 rounds? 2 matches in the first round for a 3 hour show. We had an unnecessary Ziggler and Roman match. Both of these guys are not even in the most focused part of the show now, except Roman Reigns, and most of the stuff he's doing is on SmackDown. So why not have another tournament match, another King of the Ring match? You have 3 hours and you have 1 round to go through. I'm not excited to see Miz face off against. I think Miz has Corbin and Ricochet has McIntyre or something. But other than that, I think it's not that interesting. Then we had Booker T on Skype and asking that because he was King of the Ring winner, because it's such an illustrious sport, that it was interesting to see Booker T on fucking Skype instead of like an interview or a short appearance bringing up who's going to be the guest, while this guy is a main roster appearance in fucking kickoff. He has enough time to go to fucking Skype and be like, "I'm Drew McIntyre. Woo, get out my face." And really, and then there was two failed attempts for Elias a few nights ago with a referee disguised as some kind of guy, and then they're hiding in the trash can or something. And then we had the guitar guy off technical difficulties per se, and trying to, and I think that was our truth. And then I mean, it's 24/7 title is entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. Then we have Elias surviving for at least like 3 days now, and then explaining to Drake Maverick the next night on SmackDown that it's suspended until Kevin Owens is dealt with. I mean, unless he loses the first round tournament that he did not. So then we had the first round matchup, and one of the first matches of the tournament, with the first round being Samoa Joe facing off against Cesaro, and obviously Samoa Joe wins because Cesaro lost his credibility to be a legit star since 2015 or 14 per se. If you guys really like Cesaro, or 13, because he's a great wrestler. He got a good big hoss match. I think he started off the bat with a European uppercut, like stiff around the bow, springboard European uppercut. Of course, there was some the Pele kick. Then it ended off the Coquina clutch with Samoa Joe winning, and he gets to face either Ricochet or McIntyre for the next round of the tournament. And I gotta say, Samoa Joe, this tournament better end up with him winning or any of McIntyre winning, because I think only guys from the Raw brand have potential at all. I don't feel like Chad Gable has an opportunity. The only legit guy that was supposed to be over was Kevin Owens, but his babyface role sucks, so they're giving it to Elias to proceed later in the rounds. And then Andrade. So yeah, that was the first round matchup. Then we had Rey Mysterio addressing his struggles after not redeeming himself after Andrade ripped his mask in the gauntlet match, or the rematch he had with him in a 2 out of 3 falls match the next week, like 2 weeks later on Raw, and then losing. How do you do that? What storyline are they trying to build here? Like a redemption storyline for Rey Mysterio? Other than that, if they wanted to do that, why couldn't they just put him in the tournament? In the SmackDown or Raw block, but he's a Raw guy, so why doesn't he? Or so they can build more of this stuff up. But then we had Dominic Joe over here, because he legit looks like Samoa Joe now. Came and just said, "I want you to tag with me in my first match, Daddy." You don't even look like you can lift me up, kid. I don't know how this kid. Oh, whatever. This was a heartfelt promo. I'm not gonna lie, and Rey Mysterio really tried to pour his heart and soul in this, but they don't have him doing anything. Apart from most of these guys coming back on the roster, nobody even remembers Rey Mysterio's Grand Slam now at all. Because they have been doing nothing except feud with Andrade, then have the most irrelevant feud and the most wasted feud with Samoa Joe. And then for just a heartfelt promo, we know he's not going to do anything. I didn't mind this promo segment, but other than that, it wasn't that interesting. And then we had the New Day face off against Revival again, but ends by disqualification by an RKO by Randy Orton on, I think it was Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods. They got the chair. break Xavier Woods' ankle, then beat the shit out of the Revel assisting Randy Orton, then hitting him with an RKO, then a rip-off 3D, then RKO again on Kofi Kingston, trying to show this is personal, John. This is personal. This is personal. Don't you know this is personal? Look at Kofi Kingston's face. Look at that face. That's a man who looks like he got his wallet stolen, his wife slapped him, and took a shit in the corner. That's the face of your WWE champion. And he's a footnote in the show. He's a side character. He isn't the major guy. And we still have him hold the world title. I don't know what kind of plateau this was, but if Kofi wasn't over by the fans at any point, and he's not building up much of a reputation in the locker room other than longevity guy, this is the same guy who made friends with CM Punk, and you're telling me now that he deserves a world title opportunity? Oh boy, the match wasn't even much with the Revival. We knew they were heading off with a DQ finish, because if we see the same thing that happened on SmackDown, they would try to think that the SmackDown Tag Team Champions are weak, so they just want to end it by DQ. And just for the next night on SmackDown, just for radio, and to just continue calling Kofi Kingston stupid, and then Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere, and it's like this is supposed to be a brutal feudal because of the stuff that was said 10 years ago. How does that build up a feud? Other than what happened back in 1999 of SummerSlam, when Mick Foley was WWF champion, Triple H was building up more of a main eventer, and he's saying that he is the game, legit took the fall for everything, always been the kickstand, and then became a legit shoveler. And how much you guys want to talk shit about Triple H, he was the only legit star on Monday Night Raw over the brand split, and one of the legit guys when Steve Austin was injured back in late '99, and he had to carry the like early 2000 and most of the 2000s. You can't tell me you did not like his feud with Mick Foley back before the road to WrestleMania when he had that street fight with him, and then the Hell in a Cell match with him. Then Iron Man match he had with The Rock. Then his feud he had with Steve Austin. Then the time he had his feud with Shawn Michaels. And then he had his feud. He built himself up from just being a sidekick or a partner to a legit main eventer. That's some guy you can get behind. And he treats himself like a badass and he can carry himself on the mic. That's Triple H in over 15 years of nearly 20 years of wrestling experience to now being COO of the company he worked for. Don't tell me that's not improvement. And now I'm looking at Kofi Kingston, and this is supposed to build it up because we know Randy Orton's a legitimate heel. We get it. He's a legitimate star. But stop trying to force these feuds on our faces, and it's not doing much to get Kofi Kingston over. I talked about Baron Corbin's go-away heat. Every time I see Kofi holding that belt, that's go-away heat for me. Let's get on my country heat, because I don't want to see Kofi holding the WWE title. Then we had a pretty boring match involving Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss facing off against the Fire of Desire. I'm never going to say that again. I hate saying their tag team name. And Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. And I think it was a couple high knees. And Nikki Cross used her twisted neck breaker to win the match. There was not much, thanks to women's tag team division is as relevant as my relationship life. So that was pretty much it for the women's storylines, other than Sasha Banks' assault on Natalya and the interview. And with Michael Cole being savage, like, come on, bitch, we don't give a fuck about your hair. No one cared that I even lost weight for the past several years. Remember me in 2011? This is me in 2019, bitch. Buff, middle-aged faggot. That, like, cussing out guys in the radio, like, 17 years ago. But, we also had a United States title match involving AJ Styles, and he challenged Braun Strowman for the U.S. title the night after what happened last week. Like, after the show's done. Like, that's how you show it. You couldn't, like, interview with, like, AJ Styles. What you gonna do? What you gonna do tonight after what Braun Strowman assisted the Universal Champion? Well, I'm gonna challenge Braun Strowman for the U.S. title, or a handicap match, or something. What the fuck? Does this show want to piss me off? I don't know what's the problem here. And all this got was an impromptu tag team title match? That wasn't issued by everything. I don't think they even challenged. They just got a tag title match off the bat. And then we had the boring Cedric Alexander versus Sami Zayn match. And of course, Cedric Alexander won. Ever since fucking Sami Zayn came into the main roster, he's been a jobber. The only thing he'd been successful for was that feud with Kevin Owens, and that didn't even go anywhere. Kevin Owens was the only person to succeed over all that fucking bitching, fighting. And what happened? Kevin Owens is a United States Universal two-time Intercontinental Champion, multi-time Tag Team Champion. Sami Zayn haven't even won a singles match. And as much as you guys want to bring up the failed attempt in actually making a David versus Goliath feud he had with Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, nothing happened over that time. He's not even likable in a heel standpoint. Other than he has pretty good promos after turning heel, I'm not gonna lie. There's not much in the Sami Zayn. There wasn't even that many antics. He didn't even cheat to win. He didn't even try. This match wasn't even interesting at all. It just had Cedric Alexander winning. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go to that peak in this match. Thanks, WWE has piqued my interest. Did not pique my interest into these tournament matches that barely got much of a card in it. Because everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt again. Lashley's hurt. Baron Corbin just came back. He's not facing off against anybody interesting. They don't want to make the Fiend gimmick have anything interesting like a tournament dominance. John Cena couldn't show up. Roman Reigns is not in the tournament. Daniel Bryan isn't in the tournament because he's in a storyline. But Jeff Hardy's gone. And most of the tag division sucks. So I don't know what's the problem here. Cedric Alexander doing a Top Gun holo, doing a few moves until I think he got with the lumbar check. I think it's the lumbar check for the win. It will face off against either Baron Corbin or Miz in the second round for like 2 weeks later. And then we had our main event. That was just them losing. Just them losing. We had them losing. So the OC are dead, or else they're gonna lose them like 2 weeks later or something. Because now Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, get rid of the belts! Get rid of the belts! We've been complaining about this for the last several weeks. We have no tag division. You can bring the Revival. You failed with the, whatever the fuck their name was, the American, it was with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. I forgot what they were called, sadly, because they were so irrelevant. And other than they had impressive wrestling skills, they had no other character other than being the greatest tag team 2.0 over here. And then we had the Ascension fail. They're not even chasing the 24/7 title anymore. The Revival sucks. The Hardys died. And I don't know what happened to Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. They had one reign with the Raw Tag Team titles and then got scattered from Girth after losing them to the Revival. And the Revival lost to the OC, so that was pointless. They didn't even have a pay-per-view loss for the titles. And then you just lose to Strowman and Rollins? And it was like, it's like, hey, dude, you saved my life, I saved yours, so we're best friends, right? We can also have a threesome with Bayley, but Strowman, why are you taking your hand away from me? The match was good. It came from just, of course, shoulder tackles from around the ring. It was interesting. It was pretty nice to see the size difference with Strowman and Gallows. And of course, mainly hitting it into the corner. And I think it was a curb stomp. The stop may be, yeah, I think it was Carl Anderson. No, it was AJ Styles. He hit with the curb stomp to stop, him from breaking the pin and ending the match by DQ. And I think that was a pretty cool finish. Yeah, that was the show. Rollins and Strowman became champions, and this is like Rollins' second time, like third time, becoming a dual champion at once. He became Raw. I mean, no, he became United States and WWE World Champion back in 2015. He became Intercontinental and Raw Tag Team Champion in 2017, and now it's 2019, and he's already a Universal and Raw Tag Team belt. So he doesn't even have the contrast of what looks good and what looks bad with the ugly logo in the middle of the belt. It fucking sucks. The show was half-assed as fuck, man. I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy some of the matches. I thought that the finish with Strowman and Rollins was alright, and I don't know if they're trying to build this up for like a quick friendship into a match of Clash of the Champions involving maybe AJ Styles. I like the Samoa Joe and Cesaro match. I liked I sort of liked what Jerry King Lawler's comedic moment involving with the Fiend attacking him in the middle of the ring, with thinking that he might escape until like the light turned dark and then he gets beaten the shit out of. So there were some decent moments, but there were some shitty ones, a lot shitty ones. How to like make Roman Reigns just feel like, oh, he has to wrestle. People have to know Roman Reigns, so we're still gonna put him on Raw, even though thanks to the why do you need a superstar shakeup if you're just gonna have the wild card contrast everything you guys were trying to make. There would be no point for a brand split if everybody can just go to every brand they want, or because of a certain goal that makes no fucking sense. WWE, do you understand why people get angry? Do you understand why people get angry in any way, shape, or form? That's This is not me raving all because I don't get what I want because of superstar booking. This is logic wise. I'm not trying to think that, oh, I want this certain guy to get over. I want this certain guy to win the world title because I know it's not how it works. I totally get it. It's business. It's also storyline wise and who you guys think would make fans continue watching the show. I'm not gonna rag on y'all for that. But how it is makes no fucking sense. After what happened with Roman Reigns, how come two people aren't having an interview with Jerry King Lawler? Why is it Roman having an interview with Jerry King Lawler? Why only Sasha Banks? Why not the Fiend get introduced into the tournament? Why is there no impromptu matches? What happened to the McMahons with power if only Shane McMahon's responsible for SmackDown? And you're sucking the dick of these writers, but they can't illustrate a commissioner or a talent colonel or something. There's somebody to feel like is in charge so we don't feel like everybody's just changing belts without having an official guy to be in charge. Like, do something. Do something, WWE. Because if I'm hearing this correct, people are talking way more. I'm about to go to NXT being 2 hours in just a few weeks. Because that's going to piss me the hell off. No one asked for that. And, oh, God, 2 hours NXT. Let me tell you something. An hour is fine of NXT. It just displays the talent. You have several months. You have 2 months until the next takeover comes. You can build up from a short amount of time and for a long length. It's not that hard. It's easy to digest. NXT doesn't have that much talent that can go over. And if you say the Street Profits, I'll fucking choke you with your own arm that I cut from your body. Because I'm going to do that. No matter what logic you have, because I watched several episodes of NXT and I don't want to review it because it's an hour of nothing. And I've been me like wasting at least 15, 12 minutes or so, or like 12 minutes or so on a pretty minor part of the show that does nothing else to do with most of the roster. Other stuff involved Becky Lynch having a promo, then adding fuel to the fire after what happened with Sasha Banks in going over the feud. But thanks, Becky Lynch is not that interesting. I don't care. The man isn't cool. The man isn't cool. Watching Sasha Banks return is alright, but if she continues what she did a few years back, I wouldn't have much to insult Sasha Banks with. I don't mind these guys. I think they're tremendous talents and I think they're likable in their own right. But if they can't get over, or you have no household names, why the fuck are you making a developmental show 2 hours on national television? Oh, God almighty, why y'all making a fucking football league again? Oh, man. I think one of my friends, when I visited Baltimore, had one XFL hat, and I laughed my ass off when it was like, oh, really? Oh, well, it's a spring now. Is there any games out? Man, I'm sorry, bro. I know you never heard of it before, but uh, it only lasted for like one season. Oh, really? See why. So, that was the show. It gets a 4 out of 10. Just completely exceeded my levels of disappointment. There's only like a few segments I liked. There's only one good match. Anything else, I'm only concentrated on the tournament. I don't care about the relationship they're trying to do with Strowman and Rollins. I feel like Sasha Banks attacking Natalya and trying to get some heat for it, even though nobody cares about Natalya at this point, was alright for Sasha Banks' way of trying to get heat, while Sasha Banks is literally just a wounded wrestler after what happened. So, that was the show. Yeah, feel that disappointment. You think I was going to give a positive review because Bray Wyatt was there? They didn't even show him after SummerSlam. It only took 2 weeks. Like, it took that much to digest Bray Wyatt. It's too much for SummerSlam because it was cool entrance and a squash match on the former first-time Universal Champion that we needed an extra week of a break for Bray Wyatt. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed me ranting and raving over fake fighting. But thank you for watching, everybody. Glad you stuck this long.